Hello, human. Reflective Self here with a new episode of Living Lessons, where I get to share honest insights from lived experience. Lessons that capture moments of clarity, vulnerability, and human understanding. Today's episode is all about the hidden costs of overgiving and the lessons that teach us where to draw the line. And so here's the lesson that I've learned. The real cost of energy isn't measured in the moment. It is revealed in the after. The kind of energy I would like to speak about isn't the one we so often find in our coffee mugs to help wake us up on tired mornings. It isn't the one that we get from having had 8 hours of sleep and quiet on a Saturday after a very difficult week. The kind of energy that I would like to speak about is the one we carry within us, the kind that we bring into all the different facets of our lives. It is the energy that affects how we show up at work, in relationships, in responsibilities, in our personal goals, and simply in our best efforts to keep it all together. There are moments in our lives that can feel quite meaningful as they are happening. An ambitious project that feels full of promise for the future. A relationship that asks for our care and attention in a difficult season. Acts of sacrifice and giving that can feel both noble and loving. And yet, not everything that feels meaningful is revealed in the present moment. There are times when the real truth of an experience cannot be felt while we are inside it. It is only revealed in what remains once it is over. Did peace remain? Or chaos? Did clarity find us? Or confusion? Did we feel rejuvenated? Or exhausted? Did our love multiply? Or did resentment take its place? Did we feel more whole or less like ourselves? The aftermath often speaks with a quieter voice than the moment does, but it can be the more raw and honest one. There was a year in my life that still lives at the forefront of my mind. Not because I want it there, but because memory sometimes has a way of making sure we don't forget the moments that cost us the most. It was a time when overextension had finally met its match. My relationship had just ended, and although I had one foot out the door, I had not yet left the shared space behind. I found myself hidden away in a small room, carrying the emotional weight of everything that had brought me there. At the same time, I was standing at the edge of a major work milestone, drowning in overtime and late nights. Promises of delivery kept being delayed. The finish line kept moving. For someone who prides themselves on perseverance, competence, and follow-through, I felt like a failure. I remember tearful morning walks, moments where I tried to breathe in the cool air to reset and gather myself, only to return anxiously to a blue-lit screen where the ticking clock felt like the slow crushing weight of a mountain. My body responded with migraines and fevers, and my only response was to try harder. I believed endurance would save me, as it had in the past. I believed if I pushed enough, held out long enough, something meaningful would wait for me on the other side. But at the end of the tunnel, there was no light. The sun did not rise. There was no applause or a mariachi band to sing stories of my sacrifice. There was no moment that made the sacrifice feel redeemed. Only indifference and disappointment. And in that moment, the truth became painfully clear. I might have failed them, but not compared to how I failed myself. That was the turning point. That was when overextension met its timely death, and enough took its rightful place. Not as defeat, but as protection that was long overdue. What that time in my life taught me is that we are the sole owners of our actions, whether we move or decide to remain at a standstill. There are forms of movement that most of us recognize, those that take us forward or back. But sometimes, movement can look like rest. It can look like saying no. And even in motion, we can find ourselves looping in circles, or in chaos, like scribbles on a sheet of paper. It can also be a combination, and yet it is still movement. Not every form is visible progress, but it can still lead us somewhere needed. Stillness can restore us, but stillness without awareness can also become stagnation. Movement can free us, but movement without direction can repeat old patterns. How we move matters, and the energy and intention we bring into that movement matter too. Energy flows. It can grow, evolve, and shrink. It is currency. Not because it is transactional, but because how it flows and takes shape asks that we pay attention. What and how much we spend matter. Where we place our attention matters. What we continually give ourselves to matters. When we first give our energy to something, it can feel hopeful. It's like entering a classroom for the first time. We may bring sincerity. We may bring care. We may bring effort. We may be driven by motivations we don't voice out loud. And in those early moments, exchanges can feel exciting, rewarding, intense, even promising. But the honest truth of an exchange isn't often revealed as it happens. The truth tends to arrive later, after enough time has passed, after the body is spoken, after the mind is quieted, after the emotional dust has settled. That is when we begin to understand what something really asked of us. Some exchanges are reciprocal. Energy is given and received. Care moves both ways. Effort is met. Presence is returned. These kinds of spaces tend to build and sustain us, helping us remain whole. Other exchanges are one-directional. Energy is given, but never meaningfully returned. Care is expected, but not reciprocated. Presence is consumed, but not honored. And over time, what remains is depletion. This can happen in friendships and relationships. It can happen in families. It can happen in work. It can happen in the dreams we pursue without boundaries. Still, not every hard season is unhealthy. There are seasons where more may be asked of us, where we are aware of what it costs us. Seasons when work asks more of us beyond our usual day-to-day demands. Seasons when ambition stretches us as we reach toward our dreams and goals. Seasons when someone we love needs more of our care and attention. But even then, if there is never balance restoration, or mutuality, it can all come crashing down. Because anything that only takes and continually drains will eventually cost us more than it first appeared to. One of the most useful questions we can ask is not just what happened, but what remained? What lingers after the giving? How do I feel after this interaction? What is left in me after this experience? Do I feel nourished and expansive? Or do I feel starved and diminished? Do I feel clearer and more grounded? Or do I feel more confused and farther from myself? The residue of an experience can reveal truths that the experience itself may try to hide. Giving can reveal beautiful qualities about us. It can reveal our hearts, our values, our desires, our capacity to care, our willingness to try, our character. But giving can only offer a partial mirror of who we are. The complete reflection comes after, when we can ask ourselves, was it held with care? Or was it misplaced? Was it welcomed? Or was it taken for granted? Was there safety and mutuality? Or were there limitations we did not want to see? Sometimes the aftermath teaches us not that we were wrong to give, but that we must become more discerning about where we give. Even painful seasons can offer something. Not because suffering is noble or depletion should be the status quo, but because life can present us with opportunities to meet ourselves more deeply and with honesty, where we are able to find wisdom inside experiences we never would have chosen otherwise. Exhaustion may show us our limits. Disappointment may show us misplaced hope. Burnout may show us where we abandoned ourselves. And boundaries may grow where pain once stood. These are the lessons that only become accessible once enough finally arrives. As we move through life, there are moments that are worth taking inventory, even if gently. What restores versus what repeatedly drains? Where do we feel mutuality versus where do we feel ourselves disappearing? What deserves our energy now versus what no longer does? We are not defined by how much we can endure. We are not made worthy by how much we can carry. The aftermath of an experience invites us to better understand who we are, what we need, where we should draw the line, and the spaces where our energy is most deserving. It is where we can start to reserve our energy for moments that don't make us question or measure ourselves by endurance. It is where we can return to history to remind us, allow wisdom to guide us, and trust discernment to take the lead. And that is the lived lesson that I've learned. It's not a universal prescription, but it is mine. Keep what stays, release what doesn't. Until next time.